Let me start by telling you something my mama used to say. Boy, you better watch what you're thinking, 'cause sooner or later it's gonna show up in your life. I didn't know what she meant back then, but I get it now. Your thoughts are the most powerful weapon. Your mind is the steering wheel of your life. What you think consistently will determine where you end up. People ask me all the time, Steve, what's the real secret to turning your life around? And I always tell them, start with your thoughts. But let me break that down for you, 'cause this ain't just some catchy phrase. This is real life science, real life truth. Your mind is the steering wheel of your life. Wherever your thoughts are consistently pointed, that's where your life is gonna go. Let me put it this way. Your mind is like the navigation system in a car. If you keep typing in the same address, I'm not good enough, I'll never make it, life is hard, I'm stuck, guess what? That's exactly where you're going. That's the destination your life is driving toward, whether you realize it or not. Every single thought you entertain on a daily basis becomes part of the internal map you're following. And most folks out here, they're riding through life with no idea they've programmed their mind for struggle, for limitation, for fear. Now here's the kicker. The brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. That's a psychological fact. You feed it fear, it believes you're in danger. You feed it faith, it believes something better is on the way. That's why you gotta be intentional about what you allow up in your head. Thoughts ain't just visitors, they're builders. They shape your choices, your mood, your energy, your expectations. And the longer you hold onto a thought, the deeper it digs into your reality. And this ain't just about thinking positive, it's about thinking with purpose. You can't let your mind run wild like an untrained puppy. You gotta lead it. You gotta sit down and ask yourself, where do I want my life to go? And then start thinking in that direction every single day. That's how momentum builds. That's how mindsets shift. That's how lives change. So if you want to go somewhere better, don't just wish for it. Grab the wheel, direct your mind, guide your thoughts like your future depends on it, 'cause it does. And remember this, your life can't go where your mind won't let its thoughts become things. Every invention, every success story started as a thought. Let me tell you something that'll change the way you look at everything from this day forward. Thoughts become things. That's not some motivational fluff. That's a principle that governs every single success story you've ever heard. Every invention, every breakthrough, every business, every dream, it all started as a single thought in somebody's mind. Somebody had the nerve to say, what if? And then they stayed with that thought long enough to bring it into the world. See, your thoughts are creative forces. They're not just passing ideas floating around, they are seeds. And when you hold on to a thought, when you water it with belief, action, repetition, it starts to take shape. It starts turning into something you can touch, live in, drive, build, or become. But here's the deeper part most people miss. Thoughts carry energy. This ain't just motivational talk. This is rooted in psychology and even quantum theory. When you focus on something long enough, you start to align your behavior, your habits, even your emotions around it. The brain starts filtering reality based on that dominant thought. It looks for ways to prove it true. That's why if you keep thinking you're not worthy, your brain will find every little reason to back that up. But if you start thinking, I am capable, I am valuable, I am ready, your brain will shift to support that reality instead. The power is in your focus, because what you focus on grows. If you focus on lack, you live in lack. If you focus on possibility, doors start opening. that weren't even visible before. But you've got to train your mind to hold the kind of thoughts that move you forward. Thoughts that are rooted in faith, in vision, in purpose. You gotta understand, the world you're living in right now is a reflection of the thoughts you've been entertaining. And if you don't like what's showing up in your life, it's time to change what's going on in your head. Because at the end of the day, everything you want, everything you dream, begins with one bold thought. So don't just think small, think on purpose, think big, and then walk in the direction of that thought like your life depends on it. You attract what you focus on. Positive thoughts attract positive outcomes. Negative ones do the opposite. Now listen, if there's one thing I wish more people understood early on, it's this right here. You attract what you focus on. That's not just a cute phrase for your vision board. That's a truth rooted in how your brain and spirit operate. What you dwell on in your mind becomes a magnet in your life. And that magnet don't care if you're thinking good or bad. It's gonna pull in whatever matches your dominant thoughts. Let me break it down in a way we can all understand. Your mind has a built-in system. Psychologists call it the asterisk reticular activating system, or RAS for short. It filters the millions of bits of information you experience every day, and it decides what to bring into your awareness based on what you're focused on. So when you keep thinking, I never catch a break, guess what your brain is gonna do? It's gonna highlight every single setback, every rejection, every closed door, and hide the opportunities right in front of you. But flip that around. You start focusing on solutions, growth, gratitude, progress, and suddenly you start noticing people, ideas, chances you didn't even know were there. It's not magic, it's mindset, and mindset dictates motion. See, too many folks are walking through life thinking they're unlucky, thinking they're stuck, when really, they've just been focused on the wrong thing for too long. You can't spend every day thinking about failure and expect to succeed. You can't constantly think about what you lack and expect to feel fulfilled. You are literally shaping your experience of life with the thoughts you choose to repeat. And don't get it twisted, focus is a choice. You may not control every circumstance, but you do control what you choose to zero in on. You can train your mind to find the lesson in the setback, to see the light in the dark, to speak purpose over pain. And when you do that consistently, your life starts changing in ways that'll shock you. So here's what I'll leave you with. Where your focus goes, your future follows. Point it in the direction of the life you want, and don't look back. Your thoughts control your emotions and actions. Your behavior is shaped by what you repeatedly tell yourself. Let me let you in on something that changed my life the day I truly understood it. Your thoughts control your emotions, and your emotions control your actions. Most people walk around thinking they're reacting to life, to situations, to people, to bad days, but what they're really reacting to is the conversation happening inside their own head. That internal dialogue, that's the control center, and if you don't manage it, it will manage you. See, here's how it works. A thought comes up, maybe it's doubt, fear, anger, insecurity. You let it sit there unchecked, and soon enough your body responds. Your heart rate changes, your mood drops, your energy shifts. Now your behavior starts lining up with that emotion. You snap at somebody, you cancel the meeting, you procrastinate, all because of a thought you didn't challenge. You've got to understand that your emotional state is not random. It's a reflection of your dominant thoughts. You can't think defeat all day and expect to feel confident. You can't replay every mistake and expect to feel motivated. It doesn't work like that. Your emotions follow your thinking, your actions follow your emotions, and your results follow your actions. Now, I'm not saying ignore your feelings. I'm saying lead them. And the only way you lead them is by first leading your mind. When fear pops up, instead of running with it, pause and ask, where's this coming from? Is it true? Most of the time, the answer is no, it's just an old thought, an old story playing on repeat. But when you interrupt that pattern, you get your power back. And here's the part most people miss. Small shifts in thought create big shifts in outcome. You don't have to go from fearful to fearless overnight. Just shift from I can't do this to I'm figuring it out. From I'm not enough to I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm building. That one thought can change the way you feel, and that feeling can push you into action. And action is what builds success, not just talk, not just dreaming, but doing. So let me leave you with this. Master your thoughts, and your emotions will follow. Master your emotions, and your life will never be the same. Upgrade your thinking. Upgrade your life's success requires thinking bigger, broader, and with belief. Let me tell you something that a lot of folks never hear growing up. You can upgrade your life by upgrading your thinking. Now, I know that sounds simple, but it's one of the deepest truths you'll ever come across. Because the life you're living right now, that's the ceiling your mind built for you. If you want to go higher, you've got to start thinking on a higher level. Too many people are trying to change their life without changing the way they think. That's like repainting a house with a cracked foundation. You might cover it up for a little while, but eventually the cracks are gonna show again. If you think like the old version of you, you're always gonna end up back in the same place, same problems, same limits, same fears, just wearing new clothes. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying change is easy, but it is possible, and it starts in the most powerful place you own, your mind. When you expand your thinking, you expand your options, you start seeing yourself differently. You stop asking, can I do this? And start asking, how can I do this? That shift right there, that's where progress lives. You see, your mindset is the lens through which you view the world. If that lens is cloudy with fear, doubt, or past trauma, you're never going to see the opportunities right in front of you. But when you clean that lens, when you renew your thinking, life starts looking different, bigger, brighter, more possible. And here's the truth nobody tells you. You don't have to think like the people you came from. Just because you grew up around struggle, around limitation, around small-mindedness, doesn't mean you have to carry that with you. You get to choose, you get to build a new mindset, a mindset that matches where you're going, not where you've been. So here's what I want you to remember. If you want more out of life, don't just hustle harder, think higher. Because the next level of your life will only unlock when you start thinking like the person who already lives there. Faith and thought work together. You can't achieve greatness if your mind doesn't. First, believe it's possible. Let me tell you something that don't get said enough, especially in this world that's all about grind, hustle, and performance. Your thoughts mean nothing if they're not backed by faith. Now, I'm not talking about religion right now. I'm talking about the kind of belief that lives deep down in your soul. The kind of belief that says, even when I can't see it yet, I still know it's possible. See, thoughts are the blueprint. But faith is the fuel. Faith is what makes you keep showing up after the setback. Faith is what keeps your head high when nothing around you looks like success. You can have all the vision boards in the world, all the goals written out in perfect little notebooks. But if you don't believe deep down that you're worthy, that you're capable, that it's coming. Then those thoughts are just paper and ink. There's a reason why people with less talent and fewer resources still rise to the top, they believe. They believe before the world believes, and that belief gets built in the mind first. Your mind has to say, "This is who I am becoming." Long before the bank account agrees, long before the mirror reflects it, long before anybody claps for you. But here's the real challenge. You've got to hold that faith, even when your circumstances tell you otherwise. That's the test. Anybody can think big when life is good, but when the storm comes, when the money's low, when the vision seems far, that's when you find out what your mind is really made of. And don't forget, faith isn't passive. Faith works in partnership with your thoughts. You think it, you believe it, and then you act like it. You walk like it's already yours. You speak like it's on the way. You prepare like the door is about to open, even if you haven't seen the doorknob yet. So if you're dreaming big, keep going. If you're thinking higher, keep building, but above all else, believe. Because the world will doubt you, circumstances will test you, but your future is always listening to what your faith is saying.